Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m.
And welcome. It's in-game live game day and a marvelous Monday evening. Scott Wetzel, Day Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, betting on the world of sports. Ah, yes, little NBA, little NHL, and oddly enough, no college basketball. And I know, Dave, where, the Final Four and the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, that's all this weekend. But I don't know. You got real geniuses working on these conference tournaments here. I don't get how the CBI, the CIT, the NBA, the tournament in Vegas, the tournament in Oshkosh, Alaska, somehow or another, we got a wide open Monday with 5,000 tournaments going on, and nobody decided to schedule a game tonight. All right, so we got the NBA and NHL. What can I tell you, folks?
The women did.
Oh, no, yes, the women did. They were afraid of going up head-to-head against the women. Is that it? They just said, here's a free night for you? I mean, they treated it like there was like Monday Night Football going on right now. I mean, the CBI, one of these goofy tournaments couldn't have said, let's have some games tonight because we're all juiced up over the weekend about the NCAA stuff? Dumb.
I don't know. It's a little bit of calm before the storm, right? I mean, you just get the storm to pass through and then you get a day off and let the
I got the juices flowing here. I got a survivor pool that thank you very much, Maryland. Who knows if the kid traveled or not? Who cares? They won, and my survivor pool entry is alive. The one out of like the 20 that I started with. Actually 3, but all right, I'll take it. 1 out of 3. I survived the weekend. But I want to bet instead I got these goofy NBA games. Some are pretty good. Got a great angle. Oh, great angle in hockey and in the NBA tonight. So you won't want to miss out on that. We didn't do our fabulous 5 trends. We kind of forgot about that tonight. We'll do that again tomorrow. But we have a couple of trends that are like really, really great. And then we got the coaches kind of fired system trend in play tonight.
Well, I mean, coaches got hired over the weekend, fired over the weekend. I mean, there was so much movement. It's good tonight is focusing on the NBA. Now, there's a lot of people that, if you're watching the show live right now, tag me at SportsBKConsig, tag Wetzel at Opposite Picks, and tag SportsGrid. Let them know you're watching. We always appreciate that. There's a lot of people, Scott, that haven't watched an NBA game since maybe Tuesday of last week that are going, oh, the boys are on. Let's see what's going on in the NBA. Yep. And, the early games, I'm not sure. You got Lakers, right? And you got Raptors. and Wizards. I mean, only a gambler could like that game. It's 42-42, 3 minutes left in the first half. I don't even know what to say about that game. I got literally nothing. Washington closes a 1.5-point favorite. Okay, we'll go with that. And Dallas is at Brooklyn. They're smoking Brooklyn, 32-17, end of the first quarter for Dallas. Any interest in the game that's just getting ready to tip right now? Sixers and Pelicans.
Oh, that's another one. Whew. Put that next to Toronto and Washington. You talk about a daily double for only gamblers, right? Oh, man. I mean, woo, that's how many people. I love going on StubHub and seeing how much tickets are going for. Some of these games, literally going for like $5-10. I mean, you can just basically walk up and just walk in. You're going to pay more to park. You're going to pay more for a hot dog and a soda or beer than you will for the actual ticket. You really will for some of these games. It's amazing. So, yeah, I if I had to, I'd go the over. That's the one thing that I tell people.
Okay.
You need action. I get it. Go with the over because none of these teams are not playing defense. If you think these guys at this point in the season are going to go out there and play defense, now they may not hit their shots. I'll grant you that. But give me the side that at least I know I got a fighting chance, and that's the over. Like 224.5 for a Sixers Pelicans game. That's actually not bad, to tell you the truth. I mean, I almost like it. So, and by the way, we got to. I know you guys laughed. I know you did too, Tanner Dave. But did you see what our favorite NBA player did over the weekend? While we were away, I should say. Bronny James.
What happened?
Bronny James.
He lit it up, didn't he?
17 points on Thursday or Friday. 2 more last night. He's now at 52. We need 23 points in the last, 13 or so games to cash a 50-1 ticket. I told you that was a good bet.
There you go.
I didn't count on him getting 17 points, but I kicked myself for not putting more on it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so 50-1, we're live. I like it.
Yeah.
The hockey game that's starting right now, Minnesota's at Dallas.
Yes.
And the line looked a little bit sus, like the kids like to say, a little bit high. There it is. Wild's won 3 games in a row, but Dallas is 8-2 in the last 10 games versus the Wild. Minus 220. The total's only 5.5. Talked about it with Peralt today on Bostonian versus the book. I kind of like the Wild plus 1.5 with some juice. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like Minnesota too. I didn't want to take them plus the 1.5. I was going to take them straight up plus 180 or so on the money line. I think they find a way to win. Find a little bit better. I just don't like laying 2-1, and it's kind of like begging to take Minnesota here, take a flying chance with this thing. So I would go with Minnesota. It's kind of goofy on FanDuel for me right now. Like they're not listing the games under the NHL category. You got to go to Live Now to find the games, so it's kind of weird.
As soon as they go live, there's some of the apps have a Live Now button that just goes to everything live by sport. Just doesn't matter. It just as soon as it goes live. So you'll find it.
How about this one?
What?
There's a team that is trailing, I will say, that is 16-2 against the team they're facing tonight. In the NHL. 16-2.
Don't tell me it's Columbus. I don't want Columbus tonight. Please don't tell me it's Columbus trailing the Islanders. So it's the Devils trailing the Canucks?
Yeah.
Wow.
How great is that? 16-2, including a 6-0 win this year. So
they only play twice a year, though. So you really like that one?
I know. Oh, I had 16-2. Now I'm getting plus 140. They're down 1-0. I mean,
right? Yeah.
This is a lot of years. You're right. It's not necessarily just this year. Like they're so much better than them this year, but there's something about Vancouver versus New. I mean, that's not fluky. That's like, I don't know what. 16-2. Yeah. Give me plus 140.
All right.
With the Devils now for 0 first period.
I got to ask you here at the beginning, it's the first segment. We'll be here for the next 2 hours. And, we really, again, appreciate everybody watching. We got Preston and Vinny in the back, keeping an eye on us. It's good. You're a world-class official, basketball official. What does it gather and what does it travel? And what did Queen do when he made that basket for Maryland? Because I don't think it was a travel. And even if it was, I don't want him calling it. I don't want him calling it. Like, I don't want the game decided on that. But it didn't look like a travel to me officially. And JY came on with us today on BVB and was screaming that he talked to officials and said that wasn't a travel. I couldn't wait to ask you, Mr. Official, was that a travel or not?
Well, being the world-class official that I am, I will tell you, technically, no, it's not a travel because you can jump off your pivot foot. You know, like if someone takes a jumper, right? And that's kind of, even though it's a layup, that's what he's doing. His pivot foot is down and he's jumping off that like he would take a normal jump shot. It just looks different. I'll explain a little bit more when we come back in Game Live.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why?
Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Dribble or not, Maryland does win. How about that? You know, it's really this tournament needs a little controversy, Dave. I will say a little buzz. I mean, we haven't really had that many great games. Couple of games. No monster upsets. Maybe out to the St. John's, you would have considered that a monster upset. I wouldn't, knowing it was Calipari, I really wouldn't put that into the category. A couple of disappointments, right. Certainly with Clemson, but so. The kid maybe took an extra half a step. We were talking about it in the break, you know, being the world-class official as I am. In essence, you can get the dribble and then take 2 steps, right? And it's all a matter of that extra step. Does the official say, well, he hasn't picked the ball up yet? He's actually dribbling the ball, even though he's not dribbling the ball on the ground. Ball goes down to the ground, then it goes to your hand, then it goes back to the ground again, right? So they give you the benefit of the doubt 99.99% of the time. You never get a travel in that situation. So that first step is really not a step. He's still dribbling, even though ball's in his hand. Then it takes 2 steps after that. And that's, if he would have taken another step, then it would have been a travel. But it's all in essence of judgment. Is that first step still him dribbling, or is that first step him actually controlling the ball? You get the benefit of the doubt. No, you're still dribbling. And then you take 2 more steps. Simple as that. So, hey, listen, the kid hit a great shot, right? He deserves it.
Oh, it was a great shot. It was probably the moment of the weekend as far as, it was the only buzzer beater, right? It cashed somebody's ticket, we know, that, said that there would be a buzzer beater. I want to shout out real quick Ryan Niemi. He said he's listening as usual, watching us, and said he's got to hear Wetzel's nonsense. I don't even know what he's talking about. What could he possibly be talking about right there?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I have no idea what he's talking
Clearly,
about.
But
he
had, he must have had New Mexico
Colorado
on the
State. Yeah,
or Colorado
State.
State.
Yeah.
Them too.
That happens. That happens. I got 36-12 straight up for the favorites, 26-22 against the spread for the favorites. So book results were mixed. There were some books that did really well because they won their big decisions. When the dogs when the dogs cover but don't win, works out a little bit. For other books with take money line parlays, it doesn't work out as good. But totals, I got 20 overs, 27 unders, and 1 push. So more unders than overs. All the top seeds get through. I think as good as a weekend as we had. There's the winner odds right there from Bracket Central. The boys put together another great graphic. Wetzel, does the winner come from the left side or the right side of that graphic right there?
Oh, left. Because you got Duke. It's not even. Well, you got Duke, Auburn, Florida, Houston. All the number ones are on the left.
So there's not one team on the right that you would consider that can win this thing?
No. Right?
I don't think
who would it be?
Well, the way it shakes out, I don't think they're gonna. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna beat. You think they're gonna beat Tennessee for the 3rd time this season?
No, I really don't. But if I had to choose one, it's not going to be Arkansas. It's not going to be Michigan, Ole Miss, Arizona,
BYU.
Maybe, but they got to go through the Yukies. BYU. Tell you what,
BYU
they've only reached the Sweet 16.
Well,
There's something. They're good. Only 3 times in the last 45 years. This is only the 3rd time. And that's a lot of good BYU teams. They've had. I remember back in college, I'll date myself, when I was at UTEP for a year. And we had the Bear there. And he was criticized. That's when BYU was in the WAC with UTEP. And BYU would win every single year, and yet they would get knocked out in the first round every single year. And even the Bear was like ripping BYU, saying, "Yeah, it would help our conference. You won a few games here, boys." So this team always fails in the NCAA tournament. So the thing that they would go to the Final Four.
When we get some time and we get some, juice behind it, meaning a bag of cash, we're going to get Vinny. Maybe we'll get Preston, and we're going to do a documentary on the 1 year that you spent in Texas at UTEP, the Wetzel year at UTEP. I think we will uncover so many things.
I almost died.
Believe me, save it for the book.
I'll save it for the book. I got stuck on a mountain, on a cliff. I got stuck on a cliff. Yeah.
This is not, swear to God. What? Where's my listening glasses? Who were you with?
I was with a couple of buddies, and one dope decided we should climb this mountain, this cliff, right? And I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go. All right, so he goes. The third guy, he's smart enough. He doesn't. I say, all right, if Joe's going, I forget his name. I don't even know who it was, right? But it was 2 buddies. So this is Joe. So Joe goes up there. He's moving along. All right, Joe, I'll follow you. And Joe gets to the top, and there me, I'm stuck in the middle. And it's getting darker and darker. This is like it's sundown,
What
right?
time of year was this? Was it hot?
I don't
Was
remember.
it cold?
Well, it's Utah. It's Texas El Paso. It's always hot.
Oh, I know, but
that
if
was-
it's in the winter, it's December. It could be windy. It could be chilly, and you're starting to get the sun to go down. What
Probably
did you
October.
think?
October, November. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm
Did you have on the Hokas? I mean, did you have on the New
I had
Balance?
no
What are you doing?
Hokas. I had. This is like. What was the sneaker? Kids. Keds. What are they called there?
You had Chuck Taylors on?
I had the Chuck Taylors on. Exactly. Yellow, no less. In shorts and a t-shirt, stuck on a mountain like a praying to God. Like my arms stretched out. I couldn't go left. I couldn't go right. I certainly couldn't go north. Couldn't go down. Rocks are trickling down below me, all the way down to the bottom. I'm like,
how did you get down? How did you get
I don't
down?
know. I don't know. I didn't go up. I ended up getting my way back down. That was the scariest outside of me on the altar. That was the scariest moment of my life. And every day since. Oh, by the way, I don't even know. So that was it. That was it. Altar or stuck on a mountain? I think I'm choosing stuck on a mountain.
It's a pickup. It's a pickup.
It's a pickup. It's a pickup. Yeah, little big on the altar, a little big on the mountain rather. Either way, I was doomed. Either way,
Villagers lead 2-0.
There you go.
That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why?
Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's made every match so much more enjoyable to watch because you don't get the stinkers, right?
Right. It goes back to these guys being smart. They figured out that if I've got the hammer in my back pocket and I don't relinquish it, we can just play them straight up and win. They figured that out. So it's like, all right, now credit to the people at TGL. Like, no, we need to fix this because the hammer can change the match. And since we fixed it, you're not out of it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one. A little NBA, a little NHL, and how about a little SGP same game parlay time? All right, we got two systems kind of battling each other here. I'm going to use one more logic than system, and that is the Celtics and the Sacramento Queens, as we like to call them. Celtics, the key here, we're going to go with the Kings, Queens. We're betting on them, so we'll say Kings tonight. We need them to be Kings, not Queens. Boston's playing its third road game, no less, in 4 days. That's tough. Each one is a road game, back-to-back as well. They played last night. Now, they're playing good basketball. They've won 10 of 11, including 5 in a row. Wouldn't normally do it, but the fact that they're really playing for nothing, and now this is game number 3 of a 4-game stretch, that's tough. Give me Sacramento. They're fighting for their playoff lives, seedings-wise anyway. So give me Sacramento plus the 3.5 team. Going to go over 226, Boston and Sacramento. So these numbers are starting to come down a little bit in the NBA. Really are.
Yep.
But I think they'll get to 227 tonight, right? Then we'll go with DeMar DeRozan. If Sacramento's going to win, chances are pretty good he's going to have a good game. 20 more points, or 20 points or more. He averages 22.5, so he should get his 20. 2 3-pointers. He's not a big 3-point guy. He isn't. But 2's not that many, and he's got 2, at least 2 anyway, in 4 of his last 5 games. So he's been on fire. And they actually bumped up the odds quite a bit when you put this in, even though it's correlated to his 20 points. And then Sabonis, Domantas Sabonis, 8+ rebounds. I mean, he gets that in his sleep. He averages 14, 13.9. So I didn't want to get too greedy and bump it up to 10. Just give me the 8. We'll get that by halftime. And it's a nice little, you know how we work this. On Mondays, we go conservative, build a little pot, get a winner, and then we have somebody to play with the rest of the week. So pay 6.5 to 1, plus 663. Not bad. Basically turning a Sacramento and over parlay into a 2.5 to 1 parlay, Dave, into a 6.5 to 1 parlay.
Yes. Last time I wore the baby blue Sacramento Kings combo, they won outright. So I wore it again today because I also like the Sacramento Kings. Now, we're going to add a few things as we get closer to baseball season and, we get through this week with the bracket central and everything else. We might need to have a steam sound, like a locomotive train. Woo! Woo! Because the steam has come on the Celtics. I got my odds screen up, and they just bet the Celtics across the board. They are now minus 4.5. They might be minus 5 at some places. So we're getting a better number plus the points with the Kings if we wait. There you go. Sometimes that works out for you. Sometimes it doesn't. I also like the over. You're on your own with these props, and I think I like all of them. So don't always advocate for your play, same game parlay, but I always root for it. Always try to find the loophole in there. The total may get us tonight. We'll see. But 10-1 straight up in the last 11 games for the Celtics. You're right. This is the night they could get caught. If not, maybe they win late. Still don't know who's all playing for the Celtics. I got a feeling they may be dummying this game up. That's an industry term, nothing personal, but they push the number up to then get it to the later time where they come back on the other side. So I like Sacramento tonight.
All right, cool. There you go.
Let's climb that mountain.
Let's go. Climb that mountain. Exactly.
Come on, baby.
Stuck on a mountain. Oof, nothing more scary than it. And it wasn't really a mountain. It was like just a mountainside. It was just like straight rocks. It was like rock climbing. It really was. 150 feet in the air, 75 feet. I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere. Just like
you went that high. Can't believe you went that high. I mean,
and we debated it. It wasn't like just, let's go do this thing. We're drunk and let's go do it. Right? No, we were like, this is kind of stupid, And then the one dope said, all right, he's going to do it. All right, don't be me. Had to be next. So that was funny.
Mean, you forgot the ring when you went to the altar. You forgot the rope.
No, we brought the wrong. I didn't forget the ring. I brought the wrong ring. Big difference.
Oh, big difference.
So,
okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
right.
It was the wrong ring. It was the one I got out of the Cracker Jacks box. Yeah, what is this? Not looking at it, I guess, and just putting it in my pocket.
Yeah. Worse would have been not bringing a ring, I think. My opinion, I would have made worse. No ring, minus 280. Like, definitely would have been worse. Like, no ring, at least, you could have, I'm nervous. I thought it was it. I didn't look, you could play that one off. You didn't bring a ring? Nah, that's worse.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Yeah.
Not good.
So, all right. Devils still down 1-0. Islanders up 2-0 over Columbus. And Minnesota and Dallas no score. Michael Fiddle, Action Network. A little NBA with it coming up next.
That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why?
Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's made every match so much more enjoyable to watch because you don't get the stinkers, right?
Right. It goes back to these guys being smart. They figured out that if I've got the hammer in my back pocket and I don't relinquish it, we can just play them straight up and win. They figured that out. So it's like, all right, now credit to the people at TGL. Like, no, we need to fix this because the hammer can change the match. And since we fixed it, you're not out of it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number one. Talking a little NBA. Got a decent slate of games. Got a couple of interesting contests, including the Lakers in action, Celtics in action, and the Milwaukee Bucks and Phoenix Suns in action, which has an interesting little twist. So joining us now to get some winners for tonight, Michael Fiddle. ActionNetwork.com is the site for him. What's going on, Mike? How are you tonight, bud?
Doing well. Always a pleasure being on with you guys. Going into today with 4 straight winning nights. So hoping to make it 5.
Nice.
I love to hear that. Well, I mean, listen, when you show up, in between putting up J's and stuff, whatever you're doing there in the background, I like it. All right, let's get right to it. You got Nuggets and Bulls tonight. The number is a little bit sus, like the kids say, a little bit light. And wondering why, I said, you know what? Fiddle will probably have a play side or total in this one. Anything you like specifically in Denver tonight, Mike?
Yeah, I like the under tonight. 239.5 is the best number on the board. You get a minus 105. It's taken some overaction when you're betting this close to the game time. You don't want to chase the steam. You want to find places to resist the steam. And I feel like the schedule spot is brutal for both the Nuggets and the Bulls in this spot, that I'd much rather take the under here. We know the Nuggets are also playing without Jokic, so obviously their main offensive hub is going to be out, but it's also been a few games with him out of the lineup. So all of the other players that have had to step up in a tough schedule spot are now going to be thin of energy. There's going to be a scouting report on them. The Bulls have been a cover machine recently, especially since the trade deadline. Everyone was getting ready to fade the Bulls, and they kind of made a statement. They're like, no, we're going to be a play-in team. We're not totally tanking, even though management traded for the pick. We're still going to go for this thing. And so I think at this point, the Bulls stuff has been priced out. It's kind of tough to buy the Bulls or even fade them without Jokic. So my favorite play here is the under, 239.5. I think it's a strong spot.
Let me delve into that, Mike. I mean, you're right. I mean, at the All-Star break or right before it, that they trade away Levine. The GM basically comes out and says, we don't care. We don't want to live in mediocrity. We want to bottom out. We want to have a high draft choice, this, that, what have you. And really from the All-Star break on, they've been unbelievable. 13-3 against the spread their last 16 games. They've won, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 9. I don't know if they're going to get to that number 6 spot in the Eastern Conference, but what has gotten into the Chicago Bulls team?
And Scott, you say they traded Zach LaVine and then they started picking it up. They traded Zach LaVine to drop the protections on their own draft pick. They owed their draft pick to another team, and they said, we'll trade you Zach LaVine so that we own our pick no matter what happens. So they literally made a trade, and then after the trade, the best thing that they could have done for that draft pick and the value that they acquired back was lose games. And yet that's just not what's happening. They have a good chemistry. They have an underrated coach in Billy Donovan. They have some good young rookies. Matas Buzelis, Kobe White's a good young player as well. Josh Giddey is out here playing for a contract. So these guys are actually like highly incentivized. And at a certain point, the ownership's going to say, you know what, let's go for it too. And let's not, worry about development. Let's actually play the rotations that are going to win us the most minutes and the most games, because the American Airlines Arena in Chicago is the biggest arena in the league. So if they get a play-in game, 2 play-in games, they even get to a first-round series, albeit likely against the Cleveland Cavaliers, where they're probably going to have 2 home games, and that's it. It's still tons of money that they would make having 50,000 fans show up in Chicago. So Chicago's never been a team to tank. They kind of made a move to do it this season. It's not working out because the players have another agenda, and eventually it's just going to be seen like, hey, Raptors have gone the other way. Nets have gone the other way. 76ers have gone the other way. At this point, Bulls are all but locked in to making that play in, so they're going to go for it again.
Milwaukee and Phoenix, make it make sense. Phoenix, I don't know what direction they were going in or what they're doing, but they're 3-point favorites tonight at home against Milwaukee. And you look at it, the total feels really low, but I understand why it's that low. Haven't seen or heard if anybody's playing or not playing in this. What do you think about this game at all, if anything, Michael?
So the opening total of this, I like that you pointed out the total is low. Dave, the opening total here was 234.5. We are now down to 223.5. 11 points of movement towards the under. Now, a big reason for that is Damian Lillard going to be out, but that caused probably the last 4 points of movement. So it's a clear under spot, probably priced out at this point. If you're betting the under after 11 points of movement, you should probably check yourself and your process at that point and come to the board earlier. But I think you can still back the Suns. They're 4-1 in their last 5 games. They're playing really well, and they're totally desperate. They're fighting with the Mavericks for the last play-in spot in the West. Mavericks return Anthony Davis tonight and are going against the lowly Brooklyn Nets right now and are up 14 points as we speak. So Mavericks look like they're going to win and then resume that hold of that last play-in spot. So Suns need these ones, and they're starting to play well, and they have tons of talent out on the court. So maybe it's, it took a while for the new coach to implement his system, because Budenholzer is a very system guy. Meanwhile, little revenge spot for the Suns with Budenholzer too. He was coaching the Bucks just a few years ago. This will be, one of his first times going against his former team.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed this across the board, Mike. Even Boston, Sacramento, the over-under is down at 225. I do my research for the most part the day before, get the opening numbers just as a point of reference. And all these NBA unders, the totals, they're all coming down here for whatever reason. Boston, though, the line is going up. They were 3.5-point favorites. They've won 10 of 11. Now 4.5-point favorites, but third road game in 4 nights for Boston. What do you see in this one?
It's really the injury report that mattered for this one the whole day. Sacramento's been incredibly frustrating in the way that they've reported their injury stuff. Boston, just anytime they have a back-to-back, you kind of know they just switch off which guys are in versus out for this game. So it's definitely a Celtics spot. They play such game theory optimal basketball with the amount of 3-pointers that it should be able to shoot Sacramento out of the building tonight, out of their own building tonight. So Sabonis is back playing. Malik Monk seems like he's good to go for Sacramento. So that's good that it held the line at a place where you can get a nice Celtics ATS. I would take the minus 4.5. Don't play with the money line. But having Kristaps Porzingis go opposed to Sabonis is a really nice edge for the Celtics, because he can space, he can shoot, he could pull that rebounding away. So Celtics are nothing for me in the spot. Line move 3.5 to 4.5. Totally agree with it, and I think still playable.
Mike, I hung out with some guys that are still in the business, odds maker friends of mine, over the weekend, and we were discussing the NBA conferences, and it was pretty much unanimous that the Eastern Conference is going to be Celtics and Cavs. Any other scenario would be absolutely shocking if it wasn't, and the odds reflect that. But the Western Conference was a great point of discussion, And I wanted to ask you, when you look at the Western Conference odds, I mean, last night OKC took care of the Clippers, but the Clippers are finally healthy. And there's a lot of guys I know driving around town and dropping bags of money off and taking Clippers tickets to win the West. There's a couple other teams that are very possible in there too. Do you have any opinion strong about the Western Conference that doesn't involve the OKC Thunder?
No, Dave. I would say the strong opinion that I have is that OKC is more of a shoo-in for the Western Conference Finals and probably making the NBA Finals than either Cleveland or Boston, because it's really those three that are so much better than everyone else. So I don't think OKC is really going to meet their match in a real opposition until they get to the finals and take on either Cleveland or Boston. So I feel very confident in OKC right now. They are absolutely amazing, and every other team in the West does have a weakness. And Dave, I really agree with the Clippers stuff. If there's one team that I'm taking dark horse value at this point, it's Clippers. 37-1, as you guys just showed on the screen. Harden and Kawhi playing great minutes. Ty Lue, a great adjustment matchups coach. You have the shooting with Norm Powell. You have the wing depth with Derek Jones Jr. You have the big and Zubac. You can play any direction. You got depth in Bogdanovich now. I'd say the Clippers, put them above Memphis, put them above Golden State, put them above, even on tilt with Denver and LA. But I think OKC is resoundingly the best.
Mike, great job as always. Check out his work, actionnetwork.com. We'll do it again soon. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's made every match so much more enjoyable to watch because you don't get the stinkers, right?
Right. It goes back to these guys being smart. They figured out that if I've got the hammer in my back pocket and I don't relinquish it, we can just play them straight up and win. They figured that out. So it's like, all right, now credit to the people at TGL. Like, no, we need to fix this because the hammer can change the match. And since we fixed it, you're not out of it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Second game live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got Cam Stewart joining us in about an hour or so. Thanks to Michael Fiddle once again from Action Network, Fiddle Sports as well. So little NBA, little NHL tonight, and then we'll preview some of the NCAA tournament games for. Hey, you know what I want to do for Thursday? I meant to do today, but I was refereeing, so I didn't really have a chance to do it. A couple of guys have noticed that these NIT and CBI and CIT and all these goofy games, They are, and when I mean all, I mean, me and Ranieri yesterday were laughing about it. They're all going over. I think the first 2 days last week that we did shows, Monday and Tuesday or Tuesday and Wednesday, you had like one each day, but they all went over. And then like all the other days, it's like nothing but overs. I mean, literally, I'm going to look it up tomorrow when I got more time. But if there have been, I'll just say, 20 games, maybe NIT, CBI games, right? I bet not more than 2 or 3 have gone under. They all have gone over. So I'm going to look into that, but there were no games today. So
because
yeah,
I got to be honest, I was so dialed in Vegas. Like, me and Matt did the live VVBs down on the strip at Resorts World Thursday and Friday. Hung out there. I waited for you. I tried to get in touch with the wife, tell her to let you come out for a day. Vincenz was sick; he couldn't make it. I had a spot for both of you. Hanging out in Vegas was fun for the weekend. So we did that, and then Saturday was out and about. Hopping around between books. Are you disappointed there weren't a lot of upsets? There's a lot of people talking about this like being an underwhelming tournament, despite the best teams winning, the high seeds all won. There's only 4 conferences represented in this thing. I don't think it was. Was there drama? Was there big, other than Maryland, there wasn't a buzzer beater, but the games were okay. I don't think it was a disappointment by any means. Do you?
No. I've had people on the podcast say that same thing. It's like, I don't listen, do you have a Loyola, of Chicago, Sister Jean there? No, you don't have that. But, outside of that, it's funny. Whenever you have a whole bunch of teams, people complain like, oh, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch this dopey team. Now you don't have those crazy teams, and now you're still complaining. I think it's the perfect storm. You had a couple of upsets. You had Drake win. You had Clemson lose, right? But it's been mostly chalk. So if you're a bracket player or a survivor pool player, you should be happy. To me, it's the absolute perfect storm. And you got some terrific matchups. From here on out, there's not going to be a bad matchup left, right? Because you got all these teams in the top 4 conferences, as you mentioned. So, no, I enjoy this tournament. So far, so good in my book.
So Thursday, the games are BYU, Alabama. Alabama's -5. That's fine. Okay. Arkansas is playing Texas Tech. Texas Tech is -5.5. Right? That's a good game. Yeah. Maryland's playing Florida. Florida's -6. Okay. So that's a good 1-4 matchup right there. 6.5, 155.5. Pretty high total in that game. And then Arizona and Duke, -9.5. This is the biggest spread of the next round on Thursday and Friday. I said it before, and I know it's only Monday, and we're off on Thursday and Friday, but the boys will have it, under control. I don't think Arizona has a shot of covering or beating Duke. Maybe they cover backdoor or something. Friday, the matchups, Michigan and Auburn. That number's 8. Michigan with a pretty impressive performance to come back in their game when they did. Michigan State, -3.5 against Ole Miss. Got to be a live dog there with Ole Miss and the SEC. I don't know. Purdue and Houston, 7.5. That's about numbers just right. I think you might hover around that as it gets to the close. And then, round 3, Kentucky, Tennessee. Is there a Wetzel system for playing a team 3 times when one team won the games twice? There got to be something, right? You got something?
Well, you got to play Tennessee, right? It's hard to beat a team 3 straight times. Comparable talent. It really is. Let me start from the straight up angle. Throw the point spreads out the window. And I said this yesterday. I don't know if I see an upset. I really, if Florida's not losing to Maryland, Arizona's not beating the Dookie Pukies, Arkansas is not beating Texas Tech. Kentucky, theoretically, they beat them twice, but I don't think Kentucky's going to beat Tennessee 3 times. Auburn's not losing to Michigan. No. Houston, as awful as they are down the stretch, they're not losing to stinking Purdue. Purdue loses here. And Alabama's not going to be outscored by BYU, are they? Maybe them. I don't see anybody. I'm going chalk. I think they all
Where's my
cover.
glasses?
What?
Who's not going to cover? Houston? Just because they're awful with the free throws and they're awful down the stretch? Maybe Houston. That's a big number.
Man, oh man, you gotta put on the dog glasses or something. I mean, you're seeing it. You got the favorite glasses on. They all win and cover. Look at these regions. I don't know. BYU could outshoot Alabama. Alabama goes cold for one half. BYU gets going. I think they can win that game. Arkansas may ugly that game up with Texas Tech. That's going to be a battle. You don't think so? Okay.
They got so lucky. I don't know what was wrong with St. John's. Really disappointed Patino afterwards. I thought he threw the kid under the bus. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes of that program, but that was not a classy look from Patino afterwards. Kid was 3 of 17. What are you going to do? He couldn't hit the broadside of the barn.
I thought he was protecting him by saying what he said. He didn't say anything. He just let it go.
That's like someone saying, hey, you like being with your wife, and then the guy says, oh, man, my old girlfriends were great. Right? That's what it was. What? Hey, how's your wife? Boy, you having a good time? You being married? Yeah, boy, my old girlfriends were super. They really were. Boy, they were something else. That's what he did Saturday. They're asking him about this poor kid, right? He feels like dirt, no doubt. He's 3 of 17. He's the best player on the team. He can't help it. And they're asking Patino about the kid. And what does he say? He says, well, the 3 other guys were great. What is that? What is that?
I don't know.
3
I don't know
times.
what he's talking.
More coming up.
That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because he's parody.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Road management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's made every match so much more enjoyable to watch because you don't get the stinkers, right?
Right. It goes back to these guys being smart. They figured out that if I've got the hammer in my back pocket and I don't relinquish it, we can just play them straight up and win. They figured that out. So it's like, all right, now credit to the people at TGL. Like, no, we need to fix this because the hammer can change the match. And since we fixed it, you're not out of it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Wrapping up hour number 1 as we always do with our Black Cloud Play of the Day. Oh, do I love this play. Oh, this might be the play of the year. If, the Phoenix Suns have any character whatsoever, if Kevin Durant is the first ballot Hall of Famer, the Phoenix Suns win this game, not only by the 2.5 points, maybe 3.5 that we have to lay. Let's go out to Phoenix, where the Suns are hosting the Milwaukee Bucks, right? So what, Scott? Let's play Phoenix. All right, they're playing some good basketball. They won 3 in a row. Okay, not too bad. Milwaukee, game 4 of a 5-game road trip. They're 2-1 so far. Not bad, right? No Bradley Beal for the Suns. They're used to that. This is the 3rd straight game, 4th straight game with his hamstring injury. So why Phoenix so much? I'm surprised Michael from Action Network, Michael Fiddle, who we had on, he kind of like just slammed over this little thing here, which I'm very surprised with. But this is the first game. Who's the head coach of the Phoenix Suns? Mike Budenholzer. Where did he used to coach? The Milwaukee Bucks. When did he coach? And was he successful with the Bucks? Yeah, he won an NBA championship with the Bucks. How come he's still not coaching there? I don't know. That's a magical question because he was fired 2 years later after getting knocked out in the first round by the Miami Heat, if you remember, in 5 games. And there were some issues off the field with his family and this and that. But the dude in 5 seasons with the Bucks was a 271 and 120, 151 games over 500 plus a championship, and they whacked him like he was Mr. Magoo. This is his first game. Remember, he didn't coach last year. Coaching the Phoenix Suns this year. This is the first of 2 between the Bucks. So this is his first game back with Milwaukee. And that's where it goes on Kevin Durant. You got to believe if they have any feelings for this guy whatsoever, and I would think they would, they're going to use this as a game 7 and just beat the snot out of Milwaukee, because I always love betting on the new teams facing the old team. Old team, they don't care. They probably like Budenholzer, or maybe Budenholzer got fired by Giannis, who's really not Greek. We talked about that, right? So the Greek freak who, has his say over there. Oh, yeah. Suns laying 2.5. I would alt this line all the way up to 9.5. If the Suns have any character, if Kevin Durant has any character, it's the old win one for the Gipper tonight in Phoenix. Love the Suns laying 2.5.
Man, oh man, this is like the alternate universe. Remember when we used to do that?
That's
right. We would outline this thing all the way up to 9.5. That's a pretty big statement by you. Usually don't do that. I like Phoenix as well, but I'm not sure I would alt it anything. I think it's going to be a lot closer than you think. Wow, I can't believe you said it like that. I don't know. I don't think it's a shoo-in, but I like Phoenix. I'm getting a text from my guy, Storm and Norman. He's watching the show. He wanted me to tell you that the Sacramento Kings are a dreadful 1-6 straight up and 2-5 against the number against the Celtics in this series, including 0-3 straight up run at home. And the Celtics are one of the league's best in the league with no rest, 28-9 straight up. So he said to me, why are you wearing the King stuff? And I said, I like the Kings. And he said, well, I saw what Wetzel said too. And do you feel more strongly about the Black Cloud play or the same game parlay play side-wise?
Oh, Black Cloud. Definitely Black Cloud.
Oh.
Definitely Black Cloud. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have flipped it. I would have done the other way around. The best play generally is the Black Cloud play. Yeah.
Every night at this time.
Every night at this time, exactly.
Now,
Suns, listen, that 29-8 record is a little like that. That's not over the top. I mean, it's pretty good, but the 28-10 with rest or without rest. What's the difference? And this is 3-4. This is not just no rest. This is 3-4, and they're playing for nothing. You throw that into the equation.
Okay.
So that's also a little. And Sacramento is playing for their playoff lives. Literally,
yeah.
They might not even make the play-in game the way things are going.
Do you think they make it? Do you think they make it as of right now? I think they make it.
Who's not then? Sacramento, Phoenix, or Dallas? Dallas is sitting at number 11.
Dallas not making it.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you what. Imagine if AD, comes back and gets hurt again tonight. God forbid that. But if they don't make it just in general, they would be the ones, right?
That would be my pick.
Yeah. I'll go Saturday, Sacramento. I think Dallas does. Yeah. All right, in-game live, hour number 2. Coming up next.
That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's made every match so much more enjoyable to watch because you don't get the stinkers, right?
Right. It goes back to these guys being smart. They figured out that if I've got the hammer in my back pocket and I don't relinquish it, we can just play them straight up and win. They figured that out. So it's like, all right, now credit to the people at TGL. Like, no, we need to fix this because the hammer can change the match. And since we fixed it, you're not out of it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back. It is in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. Little NBA, little NHL, previewing the college basketball for Thursday, taking a peek at some of that stuff. So busy final hour. We got Cam Stewart coming up in about 45 minutes as well, Dave. So NBA, the enigma known as the LA Lakers, taking center stage until we get to the nighttime stuff with the Celtics and then that Milwaukee Phoenix game. I can't figure this team out. I really can't. They're trailing the Orlando Magic. I mean, the Magic, I mean, they stink, right? 94-82 in the fourth quarter. You can get now Lakers, who have Luka tonight and LeBron playing, trying to snap, a 2-3 game losing streak. They're fighting for that number. I thought they were going to go up to the highest number 2. Now they're worried about being in the 4 spot, so they get home court advantage in the first round anyway, let alone, throughout the entire Western Conference playoffs. But they're down against Orlando by 12. Now it's 15. Wow. Now you get the Lakers plus 10.5. You're going to lose to the Magic, Dave? I mean,
they're going to lose to the Magic. Yes. I don't want to say it's a done deal, but I mean, the in-game number is 10.5, like you said. Total's 220.5. How are they going to score that many points? They got 179 with 8.5 minutes to go. 220.5 got to be an underplay. Just a quick glance at that, a quick number working in my head. So we'll keep an eye on that the rest of the way. The Lakers are an enigma, like you said. There's probably words that other people use for them because they're probably driving people crazy. It was interesting to hear Fiddle say that OKC is that much of a shoo-in in the West. The Lakers are the second choice in the West, are they not? Right? Like when he said that, they've been getting a lot of steam and a lot of interest prior to this little slide back, and I guess on that odds boards, the Nuggets jumped up ahead of them. Okay, and then you got the Lakers and Golden State's lurking right there. He did mention the Clippers. Like I said, I was out Saturday night. Vegas for March Madness is fun because a lot of people come and hang out, and we got a bunch of people together in the business, out of the business, content creators, and everybody met at a bar, an old school joint down just off the strip. Everybody had wings and drinks, and everybody was hanging out. It was really a lot of fun, and it was just a lot of just general talk. And the consensus was the Clippers was the team to watch in the West. Do you have a team to watch in the West?
Wouldn't be the Clippers. Just because I know Kawhi's bound to get another injury, right? I still think Minnesota's got a run in them. I know it really hasn't worked out, with the trade and everything. It's been a season-long thing.
Yeah.
I fear. I'm thinking Denver realistically, but I could see kind of carrying this club, get us to the postseason, and then maybe we'll start to gel a little bit more. I don't think it's as one-sided as Mike presented it. Like I know OKC is great, don't get me wrong, but are the Lakers with Luke and LeBron? They were playing great basketball there for a while. Now they stink, but are they capable? Let's in a best of 7, Luka, LeBron versus OKC. What would the odds be on that?
Oh, they'd be over a 2-1 favorite.
You think?
They would be, yeah. With home court,
right?
With home court in the last leg, because the only way they'll meet is in the Western Conference Finals. So I will say right now that the Thunder will have played less games to get to the Western Conference Finals than the Lakers would have. So more opportunities for the Lakers to get hurt and or sit, be tired, fatigued. LeBron's 40. He's a man. He's 40. That other guy said that. But
yes,
this is going to be a long playoff run for him. Now the NBA spaces it out. We're going to get to the NHL playoffs and, the grind that is that. But I don't know. I don't think it's as easy as everybody thinks it's going to be for at least the Lakers to just get to the Western Conference Finals. They're going to have to go through Denver the way it's set up now. And depending on who gets if they finish in the 4 spot, the 5 could be another hard out, whether it's the Grizzlies, the Rockets. It's not going to be easy. And I think the Thunder's road is going to be pretty easy. Obviously, all the games, they'll have home court. I don't know. I think that a couple weeks ago, I would have said it was a smaller favorite for OKC. But, man, just watching OKC on a nightly basis and them just every guy is bought in. Everything is just that is a true team. And they have, great player, and they all support them. I love what they're doing.
But are they doing it based on no one else wants to do it? Same thing with Cleveland. And that's really the situation. Like any other sport, maybe not hockey, but, baseball, football, we'll throw hockey in there. If you had a 14-game lead like OKC does at this point in the season, they would be so overwhelmingly like nobody's beating that team. Same thing I think in Cleveland to a lesser extent, but they got a 5-game lead. If you had a 5-game lead, you would be the overwhelming favorite. And they're not even the favorite. Boston is. So it's like, well, why are they doing so well? It's because they care. Cleveland really cares to win. OKC really cares to win. Does Boston?
Yeah.
Do the Rockets? Do the Lakers? Do the Nuggets? Clearly no, because we've seen them all sit their star players in big games. So you can't take their record as for like how much better they are over everybody else. I tell you what, knowing the Lakers, right, and this is what happened last year, who they faced last year in the first round? Denver. It was kind of like, if we're going to go anywhere, let's get the demon in front of us right away. Don't be surprised, Dave, to see the Lakers, if not fall into the number 4 spot, as they actually are right now, so they would meet OKC in the second round. But they're only 2 games up from falling into the number 7 spot.
Right.
And have to play in that goofy play-in game.
Yeah.
How about the Lakers falling into that spot and then saying, you know what, let's just face OKC round number 1. You know what, let's not have 3 series under our belt with LeBron. Let's get him while we can beat, while LeBron is fresh and everything.
We can beat him, yeah.
So
that's crazy. I don't know. That's some crazy talk by you. Not that you haven't ever done that before. I don't know. Speaking of wanting to win and being in something, over the weekend, I got involved in this gambling Twitter poll. I don't know if you saw it, but somehow I got roped in to all of these influencers and all these other things, and they somehow involved Sports BK Consig. They got me involved, and they used a random number generator, and I was the 16 seed in my region. The 16 seed, Wetzel. I ain't never been a 16 seed for anything in my life. And I went up against this guy, a dear friend of mine, Jeffrey Benson, who runs the book at the circuit, director of operations and everything. And people gave me no shot. And the people that follow along on social media voted me. I advanced to the next round against the owner of the Circa Resort here in Las Vegas and the Golden Gate Hotel and the D Hotel. His name is Derek Stevens. And he was against me. He used the hotel's social medias to put it out there to vote for him. And somehow I won that one too. So now I'm in the Sweet 16, and I need you guys watching on SportsGrid. It's on my Twitter. There's a picture of me in a Kansas City Royals uniform in front of a garbage can talking about them getting a CLV. But we're going dancing. They didn't know what they were doing, putting me as a 16 seed. They had no idea.
Nice.
So I need the people on the podcast. I need people for the next 24 hours. Got to get in there and vote because I'm going against Spanky. Who was your favorite Little Rascals character?
I don't know if it was Spank. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you when I come back.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why?
Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid where the Devils have tied up Vancouver 1-1. How about that? We're
Yes,
fighting.
sir.
We're going with the not fighting with them, really, right, Dave? 16-2 are the Devils against the Canucks. We grabbed them before when they fell behind 1-0, so it's locked up right now. Last I saw, they were plus 140 as dogs. I don't know what they are now to tie them up. So 1-1, not bad. Islanders blew a 3-2 lead against Columbus, but the Islanders have taken a 3-2 lead now after Columbus had tied up. Columbus has lost, 6 in a row? But they have really just kind of fallen off the map here after 2 of these games are, by the way. So Islanders -4-1. Don't know about that. And Dallas and Minnesota still scoreless early second period. How about that? Over under 3.5. You got 14 minutes left to go in the second. That's a lot of hockey for giving you a 3.5 for a total. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, but the final score of that game's 2-1. That's that's the way. That's what that tells me. Yeah, I mean you could get under 3.5 right now, and go another 3 minutes to 4 minutes with no score, and it's going to be 2.5. So if we get to the 10-minute mark halfway through the game, it might get to 2.5, depending on what the juice is. Let me see. Hit refresh. So 3.5 minus 135 right now. 14 minutes left. Yeah, it'll flip to 2.5 just under the 10-minute mark if there's no goals. Otherwise, you can wait and maybe go over to 2.5 if you like. My buddy Storm Norman's all over the Devils with you. He couldn't wait to let me know. Just sent me a text. Tell Wetzel thank you for the plus 140. Hopefully they get the next goal because after 2 periods they're tied 1-1 and they're minus 140. So that's good. Are you watching any of the other games tonight, or did you catch any of the like the CBI and all this other stuff? Did you get involved today, or did you take the day off from that stuff today?
No, I had to ref. I know there were 3 afternoon games. They're playing down in Daytona, Florida, and one of them I think actually started at either 11 o'clock in the morning or 11:30. And then I figured, all right, we're going to have they're all down in Daytona, Florida. They all go to one site. And so I figured, all right, it's going to be wall-to-wall basketball. Let's go. We're all set. And then it's like, no, the last game started at 2:30. Like, what is that? And that's why I went into my little rant there about I don't know why they were so deathly afraid of having games tonight. I mean, really, did they just open the door for the I was going to say WNBA, but for the women's basketball? I mean, seems kind of weird to me. But no, I didn't. The only thing I want to do is, like I said, I wanted to check out the over-unders. Because I'm telling you, man, all these NIT and CBI games, they're all going over.
Do you think that's going to translate at all to the tournament? I mean, Atlanta, San Francisco, Indianapolis, Newark. So big arenas, yes, but like basketball arenas, yes. I don't know. I don't think it necessarily transfers over. I think as we get – I mean, there's some games that look like dead unders, right? Kentucky, Tennessee, to me, looked like a dead under. Arkansas, Texas Tech looked like a dead under. I don't know about Michigan, Auburn. Michigan had an unbelievable run. I would have pegged them to be more of an under, but my goodness, they came back in their game. I don't know. I caution people all the time not to take what happened in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA and then carry it over to the next 2. Like, these are completely different venues. These are completely different matchups. You get to go back home in between, read all your press clippings, right? Like, you don't carry anything over, do you?
No. You told for 3-4 days how great you are and everything else. And, it's tough. We had a stretch, Dave, where we had, it was either 12 or 13, I got to double check, straight unders from Friday night into Saturday.
Yep.
We had like 12 or 13 straight unders. It was wild. Wild. So, what I do, I bet all the overs, right? Then the next day, so I got this, in the first game Saturday went under. I think it was the Purdue game. I'm like, okay, let me put a round robin parlay in. Just give me all 5. The 5 next games, give me all unders. They all went over. Every single one of them went over. As soon as I bet after 12, 13, whatever it was, straight unders, I say fudge. All right, let's bet the under. I changed my mind on all these. They all went over.
We need to find the opposite picks music. Go wah, 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 right there. You had all the overs. Listen, that happens. That happens. That's fine. It's over. All right, we turn the page. We move on. Speaking of turning the page, it starts on Thursday. We are not on Thursday.
Yes.
So, but baseball season is here. And last year we became a Mets show. I'm sure Vinny doesn't have the Mets shell ready to play right now. But have you done any of the work for the baseball season yet, Wetzel? Because I mean, I'm diving in tonight after the show. I got some things to
Me
do,
too.
some people to see and talk about some things. Tonight starts a nice 2-day, 3-day stretch of crunching some numbers for maybe some season win stuff.
Yep. I got my sunflower seeds. I got my Dr. Pepper. I got a little hamburgers, hot dogs, little shepherd's pie that the wife actually made yesterday. She must have not been feeling well. She actually cooked.
Whoa!
Yeah, very, very weird.
Is it good?
So
Does she make a good shepherd's pie?
It actually was. It was pretty good. Yeah, I got to, I got to admit, it was actually pretty good. So, all right, except for the next year. So I'm gonna do. I started looking at the teams last night. Tonight is where I now kind of correlate some of the numbers. I'll look at some of the over/under numbers for win totals and figure out, all right, my perception was this, and now I'll start looking at this like, okay, that was right on, or it's too close, and see, see if I get some. You know what I found is baseball. It seems like I keep on looking for this team that's like really good in the American League, and I can't find any. I mean, every last one of them, they all have flaws. So you got to kind of bring your thinking down. Like, okay, there's not a 1986 Red Sox team on there. There's not a 2001 whatever it was stanky team on here. So Kansas City might actually be pretty good. Again this year. Not that their roster is great, just that same thing with Cleveland. So you got to kind of change your thinking a little bit. So I'm going to do that as well. We'll have some numbers the rest of the week, sure.
They're lumped in there, and the American League I think is a lot harder puzzle than the National League. The Dodgers are winning the National League West. The Braves are winning the National League East. After that, we're done.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it on the way out.
That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why?
Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Road management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's made every match so much more enjoyable to watch because you don't get the stinkers, right?
Right. It goes back to these guys being smart. They figured out that if I've got the hammer in my back pocket and I don't relinquish it, we can just play them straight up and win. They figured that out. So it's like, all right, now credit to the people at TGL. Like, no, we need to fix this because the hammer can change the match. And since we fixed it, you're not out of it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. Keeping an eye, a little NBA, a little NHL, and obviously talking a little NCAA action as well. It is in-game, so we'll check out the lines. Again, Devils and Canucks tied at 1. New Jersey minus 130. Islanders 3-2, minus 4-1 over Columbus. Over under 7.5. You think you're going to get 3 more goals there. Still no goals in Dallas and Minnesota. The 9 minutes now left, and it's still 3.5, but barely, minus 230. And Utah and Detroit, 2 teams that have kind of fighting typical Detroit, doing so well regular season and just falling apart down the stretch here. Tied at 1 with the hockey club. Minus 172 is Utah. A lot of people, these Utah lines have been crazy, really, all season long. Lakers are going to lose, Dave. 118-106, 34 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
3rd straight loss. Wow. Can't believe that. Cannot believe that.
Yeah, well.
Denver was the sucker line.
You think?
Denver's up 7. Well, Denver's up 7, and they're still only 4.5. And they were only, 3.5, 4.5 to start the game.
Yeah. Was low.
I don't understand. Aaron Gordon's not playing, but Joker is. Murray is. People falling in love with the Bulls?
Yeah, a lot of times when a team starts playing like the Bulls, and I think at the beginning of the Bulls, like, run or whatever it is that you're doing, you're way off on the number, and you refuse to, move the power rating and everything else. So you're off, and then you finally start to get in the zone and then you maybe overvalue it against good teams, So probably somebody went, all right, going to Denver. Denver hit and miss. Let me see what Denver is. Just 5-5 in their last 10, so maybe shorten the number a little bit, keep it under 2 scores maybe. I don't know. I probably would have had the number higher myself. Doesn't mean it's going to get there, but rather take a bet on the Bulls on the road in that situation than have them laying it with the Nuggets. So we'll see. What's the in-game number right now? Did it over-adjust yet? You said it's 4.5. That's it? Yeah.
6.5 now. I think they were a little slow at the wheel. Now it's 6.5.
Yeah. Well, they're watching the show too. We appreciate you guys in the rooms everywhere watching the show when we're helping you out. Shoot us a text at Opposite Picks, at SportsBK Consig. We got guys talking about, your being on the side of a mountain or at the altar, trying to make a number on that and what's worse or what was harder. And it's a pick-up so far. The boys are sending me things. They're sending me things. I don't know. I thought being on a mountain might be a minus 200 favorite, but there's people saying I'm wrong. They're saying the numbers are pick 'em. Just saying.
A lot more married people out there than you think. They know. They realize, we'll take the mountain. At least the mountain doesn't talk back, At least there's no expectations, failed expectations with a mountain.
Oh, boy. Oh, goodness gracious. What flavor sunflower seeds you're talking about when you get to start to do the baseball work? Do you have a go-to flavor?
No, just basic. I've tried some of those flavors. They're god-awful. Oh, they're just awful. Just regular old salt. No, the pepper, and then there's
black pepper's the best. You don't like the dill pickle barbecue?
No,
none of that.
God, no, none of that stuff. Jalapeno pepper. I had tried jalapenos once for some dopey reason. Oh, no. Give me just a regular old. I'm just a regular old guy. Give me just a regular. I don't need any kind of flavors. If I wanted flavors, I'd go buy juicy fruit or something. I get just sunflower seeds for the sunflower seeds. That Dr. Pepper.
The kids don't even know what you're talking about when you say juicy fruit. That was a gum. Yeah. That was a gum, boys and girls.
Lasted about 30 seconds before it ran out of flavor.
Right, under a minute for juicy fruit. Yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. Dr. Pepper, you could. Is it regular or is it diet? I'm just asking.
Again, no, just regular. No diet for me.
Oh, pardon me.
When you're fit and trim like myself, lean, mean, fighting machine, reffing every other day. I don't have to worry about just diet stuff.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, people have said that Diet Dr. Pepper tastes the most like the Dr. Pepper, so it's highly rated.
Yeah.
You could probably use.
I tried it. It's not awful. I will say that. Like generally diet soda is awful. So it's not awful. It's drinkable, but it's not. No, there's definitely a difference.
Okay.
So Anthony Davis, 10 points in his return, 24 minutes, 6 rebounds. Mavs by 20.
casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why?
Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
13.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave, hour number 2. We got Cam Stewart in about 10 minutes or so. Watching a little NBA, a little NHL, previewing the NCAA for Thursday. We'll have a lot more plays and baseball starting Thursday afternoon. Kind of weird. I don't remember that being the case before, Dave. Like, again, sometimes you wonder about these sports and these commissioners, right? Now, why would baseball on a Sweet 16 day start Thursday when, unless I'm forgetting something, there's nothing going on Wednesday? Wouldn't you start your season Wednesday when there's nothing going on versus Thursday? I get into that stuff a little bit more than maybe others, I suppose.
Yeah,
but
it's
just like the idea is for eyeballs. You want eyeballs going to your sport. And you don't want to have something taken away. I don't know why. When you have such an obvious option right in front of you, let's do Wednesday versus Thursday. I don't know.
I don't know if you want to talk about a scheduling thing. You're a night owl, so it doesn't affect you nearly as much. I mean, like you just said, give you some Dr. Pepper and some straight seeds, and you're good to go. Although we're getting texts and tweets and stuff right now from people that said they're different and they're, different things. We'll see if we can get one of them up because it's great. What did they do to the Sunday of the NCAA tournament? Because it was always built up like Thursday, Friday was just the perfect rhythmic pentameter of the day. Everything, the flow was just start in the morning in Vegas and go tonight. Then Saturday was the same type of day, build up early in the morning and come, Saturday night. But then Sunday, they front loaded the games. There was one early one and then a bunch of midday ones, and everything was wrapped up by dinner time, East Coast time. The last game was over by like 7. Everybody was flying home, cashed all their tickets. Everything was done. Everybody knew the Sweet 16 was by Sunday early evening. They made those games late last night. Oregon, Arizona was late.
Yeah.
They messed up the schedule on Sunday, no?
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while. I remember complaining about this where, Thursday and Friday, as you said, so many games all going on. That's the beauty of it. You flip over here, you get the final, this game, then you flip over there. When one game's in a commercial, commercial or halftime, the other games are going on. It's great, right? And then they get to Saturday and Sunday, and then you have basically standalone games for the first 2. and then they jam 6 into the last 4 hours of the day. And then, as you say, make some of these games, start close to freaking midnight here on the East Coast. So it's like, why are you only giving us 1 at 1 o'clock and then 1 at 3 o'clock? And then we got 6 from 5 o'clock literally on. By Sunday night, I was shot. I got to admit, I didn't stay up and watch that game. Had some money on it, had them in my brackets and everything. It was just like, you know what, I'm done. I can't stay up for it one more. So, especially after the Maryland finish, when I had so much riding on that, I was just like, ooh, that's it. I'm done for the night. So, I can't believe they won. But
did you watch
late night.
Anything else other than college basketball?
No.
Because you were doing in-game live, and you were, but literally, I didn't watch a single NBA. I watched a couple highlights, but I didn't watch an NBA game at all. I peeked at a hockey game, like the Knights lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning here in town last night. I was going to try to sneak down and go, but I was just too tired. It was just one of those situations where I threw the white flag up. I said, I was out running around, a bunch of different books, meeting the guy here, over there, and all this other stuff. So I did not go out. But
you know what I watched?
Colombo.
Couple minutes.
Colombo.
Well, Colombo, yes, that's a given. It starts on Colombo, and if I like that episode, I'll stay there a little bit longer before I flip over to the baskets. But one of the sports networks or one of the channels had a little something on George Foreman. So sad to hear Big George passed away. Right, that was so. I watched a little bit of that. He was great.
He was
I had
great.
this debate, Dave. Who do you think was a harder puncher? And I don't know the definitive answer, but Foreman or Tyson? I've always tried to tell the new guys, relatively new guys, Foreman. I tell you, Foreman was strong. I'll take Foreman's punch over Tyson's. Believe it or not, he was that tough.
I think Tyson, for a shorter amount of time, may have been a harder puncher, but over the course of his career, and I mean it spans so long because he fought, early in the Olympics, and then the Thrilla, Manila, and all that stuff. Knocked Joe Frazier down 6 times. I mean, the highlights.
Poor guy, Joe Frazier. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was a Frazier guy. Treated him like a rag doll. Mm.
Oh boy, I watched that fight again after. So I got a friend named Kevin Ioli who wrote an unbelievable eulogy for George Foreman. I posted it on my Twitter. It was great if you want to go read it. But inside it, they had embedded the fights. So they embedded the fight against Frazier. They also embedded the fight at Thrilla Manila, and watching the whole fight from Africa, and George was destroying Muhammad Ali. Like when you watch it, I mean, even the announcers are like, boy, Muhammad's not really protecting himself, blah, 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 blah. And then he punched himself out and all of that. But then when he came back and beat Michael Moore as a 48-year-old guy after, becoming a preacher and doing all that, and then, of course, the George Foreman grill, you're absolutely right. George transcended the sport, transcended everything. That was kind of a bummer that he passed away.
Fascinating
but,
story.
He went on his terms.
Yeah. He was never the bad guy. He was never the villain. But, he came up when it was Frazier and it was Ali and it was this guy and that guy. He was always like, oh, okay, you're there, whatever. He fought for USA, in the Olympics. Meanwhile, Ali is boycotting and everything else. So, but he was just kind of was in the background, whatever. He was the bad guy because, beat the hell out of my guy Frazier, right? And then it just kind of transformed his whole personality. And he turned into this lovable, laughable, greatest figure in the world. Mm-hmm. It really is amazing, how he just kind of transformed his whole career, where people loved him and everything else. So
it was fascinating. Yeah. Listen, the boys are at work behind the scenes constantly, and we're getting texts and tweets and emails all the time. We have to bring this one up. I mean, our guy Ryan's watching the show. Everyone knows you're built differently, Wetzel, but he said, see, look, me and opposite picks are just different. That's a Diet Dr. Pepper, and that is a bag of pepperoni pizza sunflower seeds. Now, would you try those?
I haven't even seen those. That is such an ugly combination. The whole 3 of them, the Dr. Pepper Diet Dr. Pepper, the pepperoni pizza, which on the surface is good, but then mixed in with sunflower seeds. what must that taste like? Oh God, no. No. Don't fool around with success. We don't need any kind of flavors thrown in there. Sorry, Ryan. I don't know how you could possibly like that.
You'd be surprised. Some of these flavors are pretty good. I'm surprised you don't try it. I mean, you climbed a mountain, for goodness sakes, in your younger days. You tried to climb a mountain. You won't try a pepperoni pizza sunflower seed? What are you talking about?
Nah. The problem is I might like it, and then I'll never be able to find them. Good luck trying to find how many stores actually carry, are that deep in sunflower seeds that they're going to give you a pepperoni pizza brand, right?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You get just salted,
yeah.
Right?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's maybe out in the island they don't have them that much, for you out there. But I mean, here in Vegas, there's an aisle devoted to sunflower seeds. Like
really,
there's a whole aisle, all the different flavors.
Wow.
You'd be overwhelmed. Yeah, crazy amount of flavors. Big out west. Yeah.
That I would like. I went to the what the museum was it? Some kind of chocolate museum, Jelly Bean Museum in Chicago or Milwaukee. Okay. One of those. That was kind of cool too, where they list like 5 zillion different flavors you never heard of, never even thought of. They had there. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Jelly Bean guy.
I'm growing into it. Yeah, believe it or not. Sam Stewart coming up next.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why?
Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
13.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Needing a goal out of the New Jersey Devils to hopefully beat the Vancouver Canucks tonight.
We all need something, Scott. I heard you guys talking about candy. Jelly beans? Loser snack.
Oh,
I tell my dad, I go, what do you want? He goes, licorice. I go, I'll buy it for you, but that's a loser snack. Like, I just don't understand how people actually buy this stuff. But it does last a long time. I'll say like a licorice stick, like you can't just go and throw it down like your mouth, like chips or like anything else. It's a good snack for like a card game or something like that. You can just kind of nurse it, take a little bite from it. But anyway, yeah, Dave.
No on the jelly beans camp? You don't like the jelly beans?
I'll eat them, but it's just I'd rather have like like, where am I going to get my sugar from? Like something that, like ice cream, I love. And that's something I had to give up. Coca-Cola and Pepsi, I'm a cola monster. I used to drink 5 cans a day. Hence, Dan Diabetes came to town. He knocked on my shoulder. But I'll tell you, that trick, that stuff, me and Gabe talked about it on the air. That candy called Fun Dip, Lickamade, I used to drink like that colored sugar with the stick. I used to get the stuff by the case. Lime, cherry, grape, orange, and I just eat the sticks. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm eating sugar, and it's probably like burning a hole in my stomach. But anyway, I digress. But Dave is right, Scott. Blessing used to take me to these grocery stores in the States. I was like a kid at Christmas. I'm like, oh my God, you got everything. Nuts, things I've never heard of. Like in Canada, we're weird though. Like I know you guys didn't have salt and vinegar chip. There's like 3 or 4 items that you guys don't have that we have, but everything else you have like 20 times the amount that we have. But it's not good for a guy who's fat or got diabetes. Like those grocery stores for sure kill you. Oh, Dave, I know how you do it. Keep those calves of yours in good shape. You gotta go for long walks and meet everybody at the sports book.
It's incredible because I think because you have so many people that live here from so many other places.
Yeah.
You have like when I go, like I was down in Florida and I went to Nashville. They look different there. I mean, even when I go back home in Pittsburgh and stuff, the stores are different. They don't have the nearly selection, and they have more, lists of things that people in that area like Wetzel with the regular.
LDL.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm watching the game.
Devil?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime here. I'm like, thank God I got an account. Else I would have been throwing things at the TV. I'm like, I can actually watch these games. Thank you. Well, I ordered 20 sticks of deodorant and things that I really don't need. But anyway, Devils just scored. Late night basketball, Scott. I'm back. It's been a weekend of craziness, the madness. By the way, you got to tell Sussman what's going on at Maryland. I thought it was the year of the snake. It's the year of the turtle. These guys win on the last shot, and their women won in overtime today, too, in the women's tournament. Something's going on at Maryland. They got like crazy vibes right now with the turtle. Anyway, I don't know. 6.5 with Florida. The party could end there. But I digress. Still got to put those games together. Looking at the lines, Gabe and I will break more down tonight. Some MLB futures with George Kurtz. But tonight, in basketball, I'm taking the Sacramento Kings. I repeat, the Sacramento Kings getting 4.5 against Boston. Spot play. Is Boston better? Yes. It's Dave. Hey, I see you wearing the hat. Is that because you're doing the same? Hey,
same.
I'd say great minds think alike, or guys who are trying to figure it out think alike. But that's a weird number. That feels like a fish line. Well, I'm hooked on the dog then because I either ignore it or go the other way. I'm going the other way. Give me Sacramento.
Boys, see if you could put up Wetzel's same game parlay because he did involve the Sacramento Kings. If you could see that, Cam.
Vancouver just scored again. 2-2, fellas. 2-2. Wow, we got a hockey game.
We'll talk about it.
+3. Sorry, Scott. What do you got? Put it back up, fellas. Sorry, Gary.
Over.
I didn't see it. Thank you.
Back up.
Thanks.
DeRozan,
20,
and then a -6-7.
You know what? I like that, Wetzel. I love it.
I think it's got a shot. I do.
Yep. Wetzel, your same game parlay's got zip. Too bad you can't get more than 630 on it.
Yeah.
That looks like a 9. But the thing about those is too, I've realized, and Gabe and I, we talk about it a lot on the show. The minute you add another leg or get too cute with it, like I would rather have a parlay that pays a little bit less to get like a guy at 20 points instead of 20, 24, 26. You know what I mean, Dave? I look at them behind. I'm always like, wow, for that extra $200, I lost by a basket or I lost by a rebound or like whatever. I'm like, no more. Just feel good with the number that you got. If it pays 8-1 instead of 20-1, who cares? It's about cashing tickets. So I'm too greedy. That's why I got golf bettors. We're always going for more numbers. Sometimes you just got to take the winner of the damn tournament. Got really close with Bridgman this week at 55. I feel for you, Carver.
Man.
I was leading going in the final. He almost came back at the end, too. But kudos to Victor Hovland. You know what? We should have jumped on his Masters stuff. He's starting to figure it out now. That line dipped hard. Like you could have got him like 40 or something. Like it's going to go down. And we'll see what happens there at Augusta. But I'd watch out for this guy. He's got a complete game. And he says he's not even playing that well. Watch out when he plays well.
What about tonight? Phoenix is playing Milwaukee in hoops, and Wetzel has a black call play of the night. Don't put it up yet, boys, until we see. I wanted to see what you like.
Actually, I was going to ride. I'm betting Sacramento, but I had to lean to Phoenix in this spot. They're actually won 3 in a row.
Put it up,
I don't
boys.
know.
Put it up.
Yeah. The dark cloud. I want to see the weather pattern.
I need to see the
Yeah,
black
I'm
cloud.
feeling. Oh, it's a dark and gloomy night in Wetzel's house.
Go.
The family wants money. He's got it hidden. Black cloud of the night, -2.5. May the sun rise on your bets there, Wetzel. I hope you actually, I'm going to know it.
15-2.
Dude,
15-2, last 17 black clouds.
Can you repeat that? Did you say 15-2?
15-2.
Hot.
I don't know, Wetzel. You start charging for picks at that rate, but that's what. You know what happens right when you start selling? Ooh, 2 for 17. Ooh, I'm on a cold streak.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, congratulations,
you got the
Scott.
Budenholzer. It's the Budenholzer game. There's no way. First game facing the Milwaukee Bucks, who ran him out of town 2 years ago.
Oh, my drinking buddy? I love Budenholzer. Yeah, I meet him down at the tavern every Friday afternoon. We bet. I give him my money for the lottery pool, and we throw back a couple $5 beers. That guy looks like the guy you drink with at the tavern. Like, you know what I mean? Like sweaty a little bit there. Oh, you want a shot? Like one of those guys. I like him, and I'm on the same play. Wetzel, I'm riding your Dark Cloud play because it's hotter than hell. Dark Cloud, my butt. That is you should have like a rainbow with a pot of gold at the end. It's like the lucky leprechaun pick.
It should be like the red cloud because it's red.
Oh, it's right. Green. The green cloud, full of money, just rolling down. Jelly beans. Come on, Dave. No. New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try Blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why?
Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that river. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
13.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Thanks to Cam Stewart joining us. He'll take over. Loma Gabe Morency, top of the hour. As he left a surprise, little present as the Devils score again. So a 1-1 game has turned now into a 3-2 game with 6.5 minutes left, and the original over-under, which looked golden at 5.5. Not that we really cared about that. Now is obviously in a lot of jeopardy. So how about that little 3-2 Devils? Little Twitter news. NCAA and the Raleigh police have apparently launched an investigation into UConn's athletic department per a source. I don't know about this because Danny Hurley yelled, F-bombs as he was walking out the door.
Oh boy, yeah. You being the world-class official that you are, and you see all those antics and all that stuff, are you teeing them up? I mean, are you teeing Hurley up when he starts like that on the sideline? Are you a quick tee guy? You give him one of these real fast?
Yeah,
okay.
And that'll end it.
Okay.
That'll end it. Because half these guys, Dave, if you watch, like this is not Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight gets a technical foul. He's ticked off for the next, for the rest of the game. Some of these guys are getting technical fouls, and the cameras are staying on them. And I see the guys smiling in the stands. I don't know who he's smiling, his AD, his girlfriend, whoever. It's like, I thought you were all upset about something. So now I don't know if that's the case with Hurley. I don't really think that's the case with Hurley. But if I was an official, yeah. Because then he knows if he gets teed up again, that's it. He's done. Simple as that.
Right.
I don't know why these officials don't do it, to tell you the truth. I mean, if they cross the line with F-bombs, and I'm sure these guys are, you just tee them up and that'll shut them up. If not, boom, tee them up again. See you later. It's like a 5-year-old kid. You got to tell him what not to do, and if you let him do it, he's going to do more. And if you let him do that, he's going to do more. You keep on pushing the envelope until someone says stop. So, but he's a lunatic. Yeah. He is nuts. Yeah. I will say, a lot of these guys are though. A lot. I'm telling you. So put a camera on 90% of these coaches. Look at Bruce Pearl. This guy's bonkers as well as far as with the officials. All these guys are nuts. So
I think the pressure to win is so high for a lot of them that they, because when I coached the kids, I was animated, crazy, but I treated every game like it was the 7th game of the World Series. I wanted the kids to have intensity. I wanted the kids, so I loved it. And I would get upset. And when an ump is not in position or makes a bad call would frustrate me. But as I got older, I realized anything I'm going to say here is not helping. He's not changing the call. You ask for help and that's it. So yeah, you have to know that. But I was curious because there's guys that do push the envelope. I don't know of the guys left. Is there anyone that you go, oh, this team's not going to win because of blank being the coach? Is there a team where you're going, man, I don't know. I mean, because everybody likes to say Tennessee and Barnes aren't going to win.
Well,
Barnes never wins.
Yeah, he's not going to win. Yeah. So definitely Tennessee. Yeah, no.
Oh.
Bet on Tennessee the first couple of rounds. Now the pressure's going to kind of kick in. Maybe even bet on them one more round. Then when it gets to the Elite 8 and he's going to make his Final Four, then you had Kevin Durant. You couldn't win with Texas. You couldn't win with Durant. You couldn't win with this guy, that guy. Been coaching 40 years, never won. He would be the one. I'll bet him one more time, but it is still Rick Barnes. Never won a big game in his life.
You automatically go with Izzo because it's Izzo? Because we'll hear about that the rest of the week. We'll talk about this match.
I don't like Izzo.
But Izzo and Chris Beard, that's a really good coaches matchup. There's no real edge there. The lines, that's the lowest line of all the games. Michigan State -3.5. Which coach do you back there?
Little surprised with that line. I like Michigan State in the game. I must say, I thought that'd be a little bit higher. 3.5. That's a lot of love for a mediocre SEC team, and that's all they were. And when everything was said and done, we've had this debate with the SEC, right? They got 14 teams, Dave. They are what I thought they were, in the great words of what's-his-face, Denny Green. They are who we thought they were. They're top-heavy.
Right.
The top teams, right, are there, and all the mediocre teams, excuse me, they went 2-7, basically, depending on who you consider mediocre. We knew Alabama was good. We knew Tennessee was good. We knew Kentucky was good. We knew Auburn was good. And we knew, I'm forgetting one more, was really good. It was the Mississippis and the Mississippi States and the Arkansas, the Oklahomas and the Georgias that basically all failed. So
you want to crown them? Crown them. They were who we thought they were.